crisis in Puerto Rico. Two House committees and a federal watchdog are now investigating the $300 million no-bid contract that was awarded to Whitefish Energy Holdings to repair Puerto Rico's flattened electrical grid. Critics say Whitefish has little experience repairing electricity infrastructure and allege that the company has ties to Interior Secretary Ryan Zinke. Joining us now is the spokesman of Whitefish Energy Holdings, Ken Luce. Ken, what do you say to these investigations? Are they warranted?
No, the investigations are not warranted. First off, PREPA hired a firm, Whitefish Energy, who has extensive experience fixing transmission lines, especially in the mountains, which is our assignment. Our assignment is 100 miles of transmission lines, mostly in the mountains of Puerto Rico, which are necessary to restore the power ultimately over time. The real issue Congress should be asking is, where are the other firms that the Corps and FEMA are hiring to come to the island to help repair the grid? Those contracts were just let last week, meaning it's another 2 or 3 weeks before more help is to the island. That's the frustration in Puerto Rico, is the resources are not there yet.
Ken, part of the controversy is that Whitefish only had 2 full-time employees, as reported when Maria hit Puerto Rico on September 20th, and then since hired all these employees. You have a pretty robust experience in PR. When did the company hire you?
The company hired us 2 weeks ago, but again, the point here is the entire industry ramps up when you get contracts. Whitefish has experience in the mountains, which is why we were hired. If you have a question about that and the business practice of ramping up, much like home builders, consulting firms, and others do, look at the results to date. 320 people are already on the island, linemen and engineers, repairing the grid. So if there's a question, then look at the facts. My real issue is no one's asked the questions and then reported the facts. There's just this jump to say nothing's being done, which isn't accurate.
Well, what are the facts that you think aren't being reported?
Well, I mean, the fact you have 2 employees and you have a business model that ramps up, just like hundreds of firms in the United States and all over the world, and you now have 320 employees. So if you question a 2-person firm with the ability, look at their experience, which is working in mountainous regions, and the CEO is leading that effort in Puerto Rico today, and we have 320 people on the ground in less than 3 weeks.
Good morning, Ken. Erin Elmore here. There were also allegations. Hi, how are you? There were also allegations that Interior Secretary Ryan Zinke's son had an internship at Whitefish. What do you say about that, and are there any correlations there that are troubling?
No, he did. He was a flagger. So he directed traffic on a summer job through a friend. But to say the Interior Secretary had anything to do with the contract, number one, it's not true. Everyone has said so. He found out about the contract after it was let. And he also has no authority over FEMA, the Corps, PREPA. So again, there's a jump today to guilt versus facts. And then the other part of that is, if you really look at the political landscape in Puerto Rico, an Interior Secretary in the current administration would not necessarily be popular in Puerto Rico, where the majority of the population supported the other party.
But, Ken, these investigations aren't going away, or at least inquiries. Two House committees, a federal watchdog investigating the contract, the $300 million no-bid contract. The governor of Puerto Rico, Rosello, says his administration will soon audit the contract awarded to Whitefish. And there's a retired Air Force colonel appointed to oversee the reconstruction of the electrical grid following concerns over this very contract. So a lot of eyes on Whitefish now.
And again, we welcome them. Every member of Congress should have the information that they're asking for, and we will certainly give that out. But the first thing is, there were no questions asked. Everybody jumped to a conclusion based on the Washington Post article, and no one called. We reached out to offices before this happened and said, if you want information, we're more than happy to give it to you. The contract with PREPA was done correctly. PREPA has a company working on the island, and the current administration does not have those resources there yet. We welcome it, and at the end, I'm just hoping people report that there was nothing there.
Well, the director of Puerto Rico's power company has been quoted as saying that part of the reason that Whitefish was selected is the only company that didn't require a down payment. So I wanted to ask, this does require a lot of money. So how well and how is Whitefish financed for this?
Well, Whitefish is very well capitalized. They have financing from several private equity firms. They have met all their obligations to date. But let me go back. There was a very small deposit. It was $2 million, I believe. There were another firm that also wanted to work, but required 10 to 15 times that amount to begin work. So capitalization isn't an issue. We have 300 people working on the island. We have barges coming over every day. We're trying to get our equipment through the ports so that more men and women can come to work and help Puerto Rico.
Ken, thank you so much for being here. Ken Luce, representing Whitefish. Take care. We'll see you soon.